My son got these joggers recently and then had a growth spurt, so we're going to lengthen them. My son has these joggers. He's only had them, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe less. Anyway, they've gotten a little short on him, so I'm going to add some fabric in the middle here. I have some nice black fleece that goes with them, and I'm going to cut right along the seam on each side and add the piece of fleece in there, and then sew the piece that I cut off back on. The scary part is always making the first cut. And when I'm doing this, I prefer to cut one layer at a time. It's easier to make sure that you're cutting exactly where you want to. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I cut two pieces of fleece. They're about 7 inches wide and just over 16 inches long, because that's how big around this piece is. So these pieces are cut at a slight angle because that's the way they were originally up here. This seam is also at an angle. So I need to make sure that the piece I'm sewing on has the same angles so that it looks right when I put it back together. So this is the top, and it's going to be attached to here. So I need to cut the top along here so it matches this angle, and then the bottom of it is going to have this angle. It's a very slight angle, but it will make all the difference in how this fits back together. So we did the top one, and then we're going to do the bottom one. Get this all lined up just right. Again, it is really just a slight angle there. Okay. Make my camera sit right. And now, hopefully, I can kind of lay this out here so you can see how it's going to fit back together. I have to cut the other piece to match, making sure that I end up with mirroring pieces. So I'm laying them out here. This is my fold for one side, and the fold for the other side is over here. So now I can just lay this on top here, match them up, and then just trim the tiniest little bit so that they have the angle I need. Did you ever notice that whatever color you need an serger, you have the exact opposite? I just put white on here for another project, and now I'm going to change it all back to black. Okay, so first I need to sew my new pieces, the side seam. I was a little paranoid, so I clipped everything together here just to make sure that I had it right. And I do. So now we're going to serge the new piece in.
I'm going to take a slightly deeper seam so that I trim off this old seam here.
One thing I always do is tuck my serger tails in. I don't like to cut them short because I don't want them to come undone. So I just put my needle through, thread the tails, and pull it through a few stitches. And then trim it off. And there you go.